Good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. In this week's Torah portion, the double parsha Matos Masai, we're now at the end of the 40 years in the desert. The Jewish people are about to enter the land of Israel. They are located now on the eastern bank of the Jordan River, about to cross over. And in getting to that place, the Jewish people have captured some of the land on the eastern bank of the Jordan River, the area that is today part of Jordan. And two tribes, the tribe of Gad and Reuven, come to Moshe and they say, this would be perfect for us. We have lots of sheep, we have lots of cattle, we need lots of grazing land, and this would be perfect for us. We would like to stay here. So Moshe is very upset with them. Now, I've pointed out before that it's surprising to me why Moshe is upset with them. If it would have been me, I would have been upset with them, because the whole point is to go to Israel. You mean to tell me that you want to stop just before you reach it and stay outside of Israel? I mean, the whole point is to get to Israel, to be in a holy place, to be in this special society, and you want to stop at the entrance? Can you imagine? Someone's making aliyah, and they're moving to Israel, and they're going to lots of trouble, and they're packing everything up, and they're changing their lives, and it takes all kinds of effort and all kinds of time. And finally, they get on the plane, they're making aliyah, and the plane makes a stop, let's say in Zurich, and they say, you know what, this is good enough. We'll stay here. We're close enough. We like it here in Zurich better. I mean, it's crazy. The lack of gratitude. God promised this land to us, and you'd want to stay on the outside. Okay, but that's not what Moshe says. Moshe says something very, very different. Moshe is upset with them, but he says as follows: Vayomer Moshe livnei Gad v'livnei Reuven. Moshe says to the people of the tribe of Gad and Reuven, who asked to stay where they are, outside of Israel, Ha'achichem yavo l'milchama va'atem teishvu po? Is it right that the rest of the tribes are going to go into the land of Israel, and they are going to have to fight battles to conquer the land of Israel, that they should go in and fight, and you should just stay here safe and by yourself and take care of yourself and not share the burden of what the Jewish people have to go through to conquer the land of Israel? Is that right? V'lama siniyun es leiv b'nei Yisrael me'avar la'aretz asher nasan lahem Hashem. Why would you demoralize the hearts of the rest of the Jewish people? Because the rest of the Jewish people are going to think, well, maybe the reason you don't want to go in is because you're afraid. Maybe you think it's going to be too difficult. Maybe you think that conquering Israel is going to be too risky. And if they think that you think that it's too risky, maybe they will start to think it's too risky. Maybe they will start to rethink their enthusiasm for entering and conquering the land of Israel. It could have a domino effect. And your actions could cause a demoralizing among the rest of the Jewish people. Again, that wouldn't have occurred to me to be the first thing to criticize them for, but that is what Moshe says. So, Moshe has a counteroffer for them. Moshe says, here's what we'll do. V'avar lechem kol chalutz es hayarden livnei Hashem. You agree that you will send your soldiers together with the rest of the Jewish people to cross the Jordan into the land of Israel and fight together with the rest of the Jewish people ad harishu es oivav mipanav, until Israel is conquered and our enemies are vanquished. V'nichbesha haaretz lifnei Hashem, and you will be part of the effort to conquer and to settle the land. Once that is done, then v'achar tashuvu, then you go back home to your families and your flocks and you live outside of Israel. Moshe says, first you have to help settle the land of Israel together with everybody else, so that nobody thinks that the reason you're not coming in is because you're afraid, or you don't want the risk, or you don't want the trouble. So Moshe wants to take care of this demoralizing factor. You're going to go in, you'll fight together with them, and only after it's finished, then you'll go back and live with your families in the place that you chose outside of Israel. That's the compromise, the negotiated solution that Moshe comes up with. But there's one critical word that changes and sharpens the meaning of what Moshe means to say. And that is the word chalutz. V'avar lechem kol chalutz es hayarden. You will have all of your chalutzim cross the Jordan. The word chalutz or chalutzim is a word that has come into Israeli consciousness in the modern era, but it means the same thing in the biblical era. A chalutz is a pioneer. A chalutz is someone at the front line. A chalutz is someone with the enthusiasm and the energy of the pioneer who wants to be first. What Moshe is saying to these people is, listen, it's not enough if your soldiers simply tag along with the rest of the Jewish people to fight this battle. That's not going to do it. It's not enough if you're just members of the army. You need to be chalutzim. Your soldiers need to be at the front line. They need to be the pioneers. They need to be the avant-garde. They need to be the most excited. They have to lead the charge with the loudest battle cry. They have to be in front. Why? Because only then will they overcome the problem of demoralizing the Jewish people. On the contrary, they will encourage the rest of the Jewish people. Yes, we can do it. Yes, we will be successful. Yes, Hashem promised. Let's go. Acharai, follow me. Only in that way will they remove the stigma, the stain that Moshe was worried about of demoralizing the Jewish people. Just to go in as soldiers, standing at the back together with everybody else, would not have achieved it. They must be chalutzim, the pioneers, the first, the strongest. A friend of mine, who's also my teacher, Abe Mesrich, suggests, if you look at this narrative from the perspective of the two tribes, their request is logical. We're looking for a place to live. This area that we find ourselves outside of Israel is perfect for our needs. It's available. And based on our individual needs, why not settle here? That's their thinking. Their mistake, and the reason that Moshe is critical of them, is that they're only thinking of themselves. They're not thinking about the impact of their choice on the rest of the people, the way in which what they choose to do would have an effect on the morale of the rest of the Jewish people. They're just thinking about themselves. It's good for me. But if they would be thinking about what effect would it have on the rest of the people, they would have done it differently. And presumably also, they were not thinking about rejecting this historic, revolutionary offer of God to be able to live in this holy land. They're thinking about where our sheep will do best. But that's Moshe's response. Moshe's response is no. You can't just think about it from your own perspective. You have to think about it also from the perspective of the effect that it has on others. And that's why you have to not only come to help, you have to be Chalutzim. You have to be the pioneers, the first guard to help settle the land of Israel. You're allowed to look out for your own benefit, but you have to also consider the effect, the impact your actions have on others. And not only your actions, but your attitude, your body language. You need to be completely at the head of these soldiers who are going on, as if it is for your direct benefit. When you think about a situation, any situation in life, you could think about it from the point of view of your own personal need, and you have a right to do that. But you should also keep in mind the point of view that is wider in scope. And when you have a point of view that is wider in scope, that looks at the impact not only on me, but on others, very often we will see things differently in every area of life, even in the most mundane. Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook was one of the great rabbis in Israel decades ago. One of those who helped formulate what it means to be a religious Zionist in modern times. One of his students was supposed to give him a ride to a place that he was going to be giving a public address. But the student was late. And when the student came, he said, "Rebbe, I'm sorry, but there was traffic, and I'm sorry I was late. I know it's going to inconvenience you. I'm sorry, but there was traffic." And Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook said, "I'm not upset. On the contrary, I am happy that Jerusalem is so filled with people that there are traffic jams." It's a pedestrian illustration. But from my point of view, the rabbi could have said, "I will be late." But from the point of view of the Jewish people, and from the point of view of the unfolding of the redemption that we see in front of our eyes, this is fantastic. Jerusalem is full. There are traffic jams. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It just takes a shift in point of view. And that is why Moshe insisted on an attitude, not just the action, but the attitude of Chalutzim. It's a different approach to life when your perspective widens. And as I said, this is relevant in every single area of life. Yesterday, I went to the bank. I had an appointment. I needed to take care of a rather complicated change to an account that I had there. And there was a very nice woman who was helping me, and it took her about 20 minutes to prepare all of the documents that I needed to sign. So she's working on preparing this stuff. And while I was waiting, I had an idea that maybe I should be doing this differently. Maybe the way I'm setting up this account, I have a different way to do it. I could just close this account and transfer this banking need to a different place, and actually it would be easier for me to do this. And she was about ready for me to sign. She had been working on this for about 20 minutes. Of course, the bank is full. It's busy. Everyone's waiting for people to help them. And so I said to this woman, I said, I'm very, very sorry, but I've thought it through and I've changed my mind and I just want to close the account. And she said, fine, it's not a problem. It takes less than 1 minute. You just have to sign 2 papers and it'll be taken care of. And she did it. And then I said to her, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. I wasted your time. You went to all that work. You worked for 20 minutes filling out documents, preparing forms. And then I changed my mind. And all the work you did was for nothing. Please forgive me. I feel badly about it. And she said, really, it's not a problem. She said, and this was amazing, she said, my job is that when you come into the bank with a problem, I help so that when you leave, your problem is solved. That's my goal. What work I had to do for you is secondary to the fact that you are going to leave with your problem solved. I did my job, and so there's no need to apologize. Now, the truth is, it was really very gracious of her to say that, because I did need to apologize, because I should have thought it through more carefully before coming and made up my mind before I asked her to do the other approach. But that attitude is so important. She wasn't just looking at the work that she had to do and the fact that it was going to be wasted. She wasn't only thinking about herself, she was thinking about the goal, the mission. What is it that helps the person that comes in? The Talmud tells us that this same difference in attitude affects every mitzvah that we do. The Talmud says a person can honor their parents by serving them the most expensive and delicious foods and yet not receive any reward. And on the contrary, a child could provide the most measly, unattractive food and receive tremendous reward. How could that be? With the attitude that the child brings. If the child could bring the most expensive food, the most delicious offerings, but do it in a way that's callous, that implies you're taking up too much of my time, I don't have time for you, you're bothering me. So what if you've provided a grand, delicious meal? That's not a valuable mitzvah. And a person who provides the simplest, but they do it with love, they do it with honor, that's when the mitzvah is fulfilled. Our attitude, the body language we use, makes all the difference. And that's why Moshe insisted, not just on the action to go fight together with the other soldiers, but to go as Chalutzim, as the avant-garde, to lead the charge, to help rally the troops. That will then avoid the problem Moshe feared. We need in our lives to be Chalutzim in the right way in everything we do. My friends, I wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.